Hi everyone. This is the first installment of a new video series where every once in a while I'm gonna get in front of the camera and talk about something I find interesting. It can be a commonly asked question, something I saw or read that piqued my interest, or in this case, a response I received to something I said at an event that we recently did that got me thinking. All these comments are going to be my view on whatever topic or issue I'm focusing on that day. Strictly my opinion. There are only two things about any of the thoughts I'll convey here that I know for sure. First, I'm probably not right. Second, I'm probably not wrong either. In other words, there's plenty of room for differences of opinion and constructive debate. I think that the absolutist world we live in these days has made us forget how much we can all learn from a simple conversation where both sides may differ, but still respect the other person's point of view. We did an event a couple weeks ago at Grapevine Farms, and one of the most fun parts of any event that we do is talking to the attendees on a one-on-one basis. It's fun to get to know people and learn what their interests are in regard to the paranormal. I was talking to a very nice and thoughtful group of younger adults. We were talking about different types of equipment and evidence. Great conversation. When they brought up one item in particular about evidence, I made a comment about the many different ways it could be disproven. One of them agreed with me and said, "I completely get it. You're a skeptic, like me." It's one of those things you hear and your brain goes, interesting. I've never been directly called that, but I'm finding that more and more that's the reaction I get when I question any kind of paranormal story, evidence, or even try to debunk. It got me thinking, is the definition of the word skeptic changing in the world of the paranormal? The dictionary defines a skeptic as a person who questions the validity or authenticity of something purporting to be factual. So, to put it in the terms of our discussion, someone who does not believe in the paranormal. That does seem to have been the standard definition that's been used over time. In Zach Bagans' book Dark World, he theorizes that people who classify themselves as skeptics should, by definition, not be hesitant or afraid in a haunted house, abandoned asylum, or even in their own dark basement. If they truly believe there's nothing there shouldn't be any fear. In Benjamin Radford's book Scientific Paranormal Investigation, he puts forth the idea that only people who fit the classical definition of a skeptic should be doing any investigations at all. The idea being that, by even believing in the paranormal, you have a bias and you skew the results. Now, while I don't completely agree with either point of view, it is an example of polar opposite approaches to the paranormal field using the same definition to describe someone who's a skeptic. That's why it struck me odd that someone would use that term to describe me. If you're familiar with us or have seen our videos, we try to keep an open mind on everything, but we do believe that these things exist. We also question the validity of the evidence we capture. That's what we're supposed to do. Occams Razor is rule number one in paranormal investigation. The simplest explanation is usually the right one, and most of the time it has nothing to do with the supernatural. Most orbs in photos are caused by other things, lens flare, a car driving by, etc. Most shadows that move across the room are caused by someone moving in front of the IR light. Most faces in the mist are caused by pareidolia, which is our brain's tendency to see faces in everyday things. And most potential EVPs can be explained away by either noise pollution or outside interference. We must question the validity of everything we investigate. We call it debunking, but whatever you want to call it, it's the reason why we throw out so many of the clips we tag as potential evidence when we review. It's why the review process takes so long. The last thing anyone wants to do is put out something that is blatantly misleading. It's the same thing with experiences. People can and do have attachments, and they can cause a lot of strife. However, I think the paranormal television shows depict this phenomenon to be more common than it is. In some of the shows, it seems to happen every week. If you're prepared and you're careful, it's not that common. But again, you must ask questions. In this case, not necessarily to debunk what a person is going through, but to help determine if it can be explained as something natural. Occam's Razor again. When Emily got pushed down the stairs at the Burlington prison by an unseen force, we spent weeks dissecting that incident. In the end, the fact that her body wasn't slowed down by mine when she fell through me was part of it that just didn't add up. My body mass should have slowed her down, but she actually moved quicker as she collided with me. Physics doesn't work that way. Gravity doesn't work that way either. But we took everything we could into account and decided that when you put all the pieces together, she had to have been continually pushed from the start of her fall all the way down the stairs. We feel it was a paranormal experience. We felt that at the time too, but we waited until we eliminated all other natural options before finally making that distinction. Does that make us skeptics? Maybe that is the new definition. Has it flipped from questioning the existence of the paranormal to questioning any paranormal event? Does the simple act of trying to debunk make us skeptics? Is the definition even that clear-cut? From my experience, the paranormal community seems to struggle with definitions overall. It's not just words where this happens, I can see it all the time with evidence. One person's Class A EVP is another person's car driving by. I see people arguing about it all the time, especially in the comments section of our videos. What constitutes a medium? What is an orb? What equipment is legit and what isn't? Ask those questions and you'll find you get 1,000 different answers. The lack of set definitions and qualifications is what keeps the paranormal as a pseudoscience at best. There's no control group. Everyone has their own standards and methods and thinks their way is right. Many people feel their definition should be the definition, and it's human nature to do that. There's no paranormal university or set standards and practices for investigating. There are people who dub themselves as professional paranormal investigators, but once again, they're mainly teaching their own methodology and passing it off as the standard. I'm not saying they're fraudulent. Many of them have years of experience under their belts and a wealth of knowledge to share. Experience is the best teacher, but it's their experience, their definitions. The paranormal field lacks these specific clarifications, and the result can be splintered opinions and scattered evidence that doesn't hold up well to even simple scientific method. However, there is an upside to this. Because there are no strict guidelines, rules, or even training to investigate the paranormal, the field is incredibly open. While this can lead to trouble sometimes, it allows the paranormal community to be very inclusive, which for the most part, it is. The result of this is a community of many different types of people. When we do events, it's amazing to me how many kinds of people come together to share an interest in the paranormal. The field doesn't segregate. You don't need any special qualifications, education, equipment, background, or base knowledge to get into it. All you need is a curious mind and a willingness to seek the unknown. People get into it for different reasons. We study the paranormal because it continues to open our mind to a wide array of concepts and ideas that a lot of people never consider. We have an insatiable curiosity for the unknown and a passion of helping people, both living and dead. We also enjoy sharing our journey and meeting new people along the way. We're not in it for monetization or to get on the Travel Channel. TV, are you kidding me? I have a face for radio. But that's the beauty of it. Whatever the reasons you have for wanting to investigate the paranormal, there is no red tape or boundaries keeping you from pursuing your answers. It's all wide open for interpretation, and your point of view is as valid as mine or anybody else's. In other words, while the lack of standardization of terms and methodology creates an uneven field of study, it also allows more people to the party and more points of view to consider. And whether you like that or not, I don't see it changing anytime soon. So, what is the definition of a skeptic? Well, for better or for worse, that's up to you.